Hi guys, how you going? Campbell here from Autodidactic Channel. Hope you're all having a splendid day. And today I wanted to have a look a bit further into the whole fossilization and what we're told. We're told that for things to turn to fossils it takes thousands and thousands of years in the right conditions. And yet all around us, if we look, we have things called petrified wood, petrified forests. I'm still wondering what scared them so much. And so, as you'll see in this shot, they like to put their dinosaurs on here and tell us that these are thousands and thousands of years old. But are they really? Let's have a bit of a closer look. So here are some shots, random shots of petrified forests. And as you'll see, we get things like this huge tree. Obviously, it's got the tree bulb on the end. Someone will probably try and tell you that's a dinosaur bone or something. It's been snapped, as you can see. Obviously, it's been snapped after it's been turned to stone. But that's a tree stump. Petrified Forest National Park. And if you look at something like this, you can see that is clearly stone that's turned to like quartz and granite and things. You can see the outer, even see the bark on it. It's clearly a tree. You can see the tree rings and everything. So how long did that take to turn to wood? Because these things are kind of everywhere. When you look at them, you can just sort of see the graininess in here. I did find this an interesting pic. It looks like those sand jars that, the jars you get filled with different coloured sand, or a mining site. And we get things like this, Petrified Forest in Arizona, and as you can see, these are all hollow on the inside, so they've been eaten out. It probably depends on the type of wood. But looking at things like this, you can see, and look at these, almost gemstones. Is this fossilized amber and sap? Is that what happens to tree sap when it fossilizes? Is that what gemstones are? Is that why they have power? Because they're tree bones. I don't know, the remnants of trees, which are obviously rooted to the earth and reaching to the heavens. So lots of interesting pics out there of wood that has turned to stone. And this is a topic that is being covered by Wise Up Channel. So he's got a great channel. I do encourage you to go across, give him a like, a subscribe, and show him some love, because he does a lot of great research into the question of structures like this, stone, or are they wood? This one here looking fairly stony, but when you look at his videos, he shows you top views and collapsed buildings and things, and he might have a good point. This is obviously a later construction. Now I will point this out. I've shown this before in videos. This is like Angkor Wat. Oh gosh, that's not a good photo. But see how you can see the cuts here, and these are pieced together. See how you can see that around the eye? That's a piece, and above it that's another piece. And forever we've sort of sat around and thought, how did they carve it, or how did they piece it together so well? What's going on here? I mean, is the answer that this was wood? Because how do you carve stone? The way that they carve the stone is just, it's almost impossible. But if you're talking about wood, well, that's a totally different story. And you can see this is sectional. So is this big sections of wood that through something being covered in water has turned to stone? Because the way that you get things to, well, the way you get organic matter to fossilize is to cover it in water, mineral-rich water. So there's not many good pics sort of showing what I want to show here. So scenes like this, where we have all these, cut bits of rock. And see again, you can see it's all sectional, hard to do with rock, but much easier to do if you're talking wood. That's an interesting pic, isn't it? Look at that. Megalithic ancient stone prison. Ooh, in Peru. Wow, look at that. Pretty super cool. And here's another shot. Now, we don't know how far this goes. Like I said, go check out Wise Up's channel. He's got some really good images of, sort of showing what he's talking about. But just places like this, you can see, these are all rocks. Could this have all been wood, made out of wood? It would explain the carving. How do they get all this so perfectly into stone? All this carving. It's something we haven't been told or taught, even though it's, the edges are still so sharp. But is it possible that maybe that used to be organic matter? So this is, it's called the Petrifying Well in Yorkshire, and it's also called Mother Shipton's Cave. And this is, it's like a waterfall, and as you can see, water comes over, and this is it's like a stalactite type effect. You can see this is all minerals. And what happened is someone left a teddy bear under there, and a few years later or whatever, it got found, and it was solid stone. And so it started a tradition of people going and hanging these teddy bears under the water, and the water would drip on them and fill them full of minerals, and they turned to stone. And you can see people have done it also with, different things. A lobster. Guess what? Someone wants to make a rock lobster. That's great. What's that, an elephant or something? A teapot, so all these different things. And you can see all this mineralization here that is literally just the water. Look at that, it's flowing down the edge. God, that looks like a scary face. I'm sure that used to be a carved face. Look at that. Mouth. Yeah, so this is Mother Shipton's cave. And like I said, they hang all these bears here, and they all turn to stone. Now, there is, of course, a story to go along with this. Mother Shipton, or Old Mother Shipton, Mother Shipton's cave is at Knaresborough, North Yorkshire in England, near the River Nid. Nearby is a petrifying well, also known as the Dropping Well. Oh, okay, so there's a cave and it's part of the whole system, or the well is. The artifacts may be put in the well to be petrified or encrusted as a tourist attraction. So you can go and yell at artifacts and scare them to stone. I think that's what they're saying. Anyway, the place is associated with the legendary soothsayer and prophetess Mother Shipton, 1488 to 1561, born Ursula Southall, and reportedly the wife of Toby Shipton. According to legend, she was born in the cave. The cave and dropping well, together with other attractions, remain open to visitors. Oh, well, that's not much of a story about Mother Shipton. So we have these petrified bears, the amazing stone bears of Yorkshire. I was surprised to read recently that small teddy bears placed under a waterfall in Yorkshire turned to stone in 3 to 5 months. After all, I had been told by my geology lecturer at university that stalactites and stalagmites take many thousands of years to form. So how could teddy bears petrify so quickly? I decided to investigate these claims and take a trip to Knaresborough. When I saw some stone teddy bears hanging around the waterfall, along with clothes, top hats, shoes, trainers, and even an umbrella, I realized that I was observing an amazing geological spectacle. It couldn't resist adding one of our favorite creation necklaces to the lineup. So the so-called petrifying well at Knaresborough has been a tourist attraction since 1630. And its water originates underground and has a high mineral content. So there you go. The most impressive petrified objects are now just two bulges sticking out of the flower stone. There are the remains of a Victoria's top hat and a lady's bonnet left in the waterfall about 150 years ago. So there we go. Stone teddy bears. Now this, of course, is probably not an organic teddy bear. So as you can see, it looks like it's been covered. But what with organic things, organic things that have an organic structure, the water can seep in and it can become part of the structure and it can fossilize, from the inside out and turn it to solid rock. While this would be solid, but the inside would probably still be, fluff or teddy bear tummy. And so in my last video talking about geology, I showed a boot that they found in the USA, and it was petrified. It had a leg in it, and it was a leather boot, and the leg was solid rock, and the boot wasn't. And they actually found the manufacturer of the boot, and it had been made like 80 years earlier. So geology has a few questions to answer with regards to fossilization and how fossils and rocks and gems and things are actually formed. Here we have the fossil hat. This miner's hat is rock hard. It was found in a mine in Tasmania where it had been covered with water for more than 50 years. Over that time, the chemicals in the water precipitated within the open structure of the felt material of the soft hat, thus turning the soft hat into stone by a process called calcification, which means that solid calcium carbonate has impregnated the original felt material of the hat. The hat is now on display in a mining museum in Tasmania's west coast. So there you have it, a solid rock hat. 50 years submerged in water and you get solid rock. And as you can see, that still looks, its form hasn't been changed or its shape or anything, the same as the teddy bears. It's like it still looks like a teddy bear. So that's the question, with things like this. What would happen if that was submerged by water, if the world was submerged for longer than we thought? 50 years, maybe, or 40 years, not 40 days. Would that, because that would explain a lot. Especially, it's wood. You can get machines in there, you can carve it quickly, you can mass produce it easily, and then it may just get turned to stone. So when we look at pictures like this, what is it that we're actually looking at? That's the question. Is this just, natural bits of broken rock? Because it's clearly not machined. It's just sort of random. Or is it maybe slabs of wood? Because obviously we have this theory of the giant trees. So were the trees much bigger, so there was a lot more wood? And maybe they had a slightly different makeup as well if we had a different environment. Because we get lots of pictures like this really intricate, ornately carved wood. And there's lots of it. This is in all the old world, castles and buildings and what are now palaces and things like this. It's all wood, all carved wood. You see it in the cathedrals, things like this, carved roofs. I'm not sure if that's wood or not, but all this artistry on the inside, like this, is a perfect example. So check this out. This is all carved wood. So what would happen if this building was hit by a flood, was kind of smashed up a bit and submerged in water for however long it needed to be with the right mineral content of the water? Could this turn to stone? We have columns here, have arches, have all this facading. Looks the same as what we see on the outside of buildings too, as far as the intricacy and stuff. So yeah, we have that, and then we have pictures like this, which is a stone ruin. And as you can see, is this intricately carved wood that's been turned to stone? What do you think? Even this could be wood paneling, just thick. Would explain a few things, wouldn't it? And this as well, this is, becoming a common picture. See, this is the thing, we have this melted effect, we have the red brick phenomena and giant trees and the tree root systems and things, and we have Weisup's theory of petrification. And you can see in the background here, is that the base of a huge tree that's been turned to stone. And did that happen first, and then something else came over, then the mud flood? This is the thing, is trying to work out the timelines. So I thought we'd just finish. I've got something I've been meaning to just put up, just a random thing I came across. This is Simulacra Corner, and this is in Australia, in the Blue Mountains, just on the top of a mountain. And there's all these pyramids, these pyramid-shaped stones. And this one looks like it's got a carving in it down here, and just very random. This looks like, the top of a pyramid or something. So yeah, the question is, how do broken rocks, if we're talking geology and the mainstream narrative, how do big chunks of broken rock get on top of a mountain? Because aren't we told that, you have your mountain, and then over time, over thousands of years, you get your weathering and things start to break down and wear, and then chunks break off and roll down the mountain, and so you get rocks. What are they doing up on the top? Good question, do you not think? So this is the thing, we know that everything we've been told is far from factual, and this is, of course, why we all need to be autodidactic, because obviously autodidactic means to be self-educated, and if we're not self-educated, then the only option we have left is to believe what other people tell us, which is things like hats cannot turn to stone in 50 years, teddy bears cannot turn to stone. This is what we're told. Rocks shouldn't be on tops of mountains. And so this is the whole problem. If the information we were given matched up with what we see and sense in our everyday experience, we wouldn't be going down this road. We would have the truth, but because nothing matches, nothing adds up, we have to go through and rediscover our story.
Я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума з розуму звела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума з розуму звела, ти казала у вівторок поцілуєш разів 40, я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела, ти ж мене молодого з ума з розуму звела. Я ж тебе підвела, я ж тебе молодого з ума з розуму звела. Ти казала усереду, підем разом по череду, я прийшов, тебе нема, підманула, підвела, ти ж мене підманула, ти ж мене підвела.
So thanks for spending some time with me, guys. Hope you enjoyed that one. Have a spectacular day, and I'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.